here after a day, and you said she'd be back in full training last time we talked to you.
Yeah, on Saturday after the game, hopefully this week that we'll have her in training. We'll find out maybe closer to the end of the week. We don't expect her to play on Saturday. I think the summary of her, it's day by day and making sure we take the smallest step forward and not taking any risks. So today she wasn't on the field. That means that wasn't what was next for her. She's smiling. We caught up with her before. She's in a good positive mindset despite this challenge, and we see her all play on the field. She's one of the most happiest people when she's on the field. We're all a bit grumpy when we're not, and especially players, and especially Tobin. She's managing this well, and she's staying focused on getting healthy. That's what's most important for us, most important for her. So don't have a time, not this weekend for playing. Small steps, and let's hope we get her back soon.
You had said last week that she would be back in training Thursday. Was there a setback, or is it kind of just something where day to day she wakes up and it depends how she feels?
We've got to make sure there's no pain, and every time you try and take a step forward, you need to see how the body reacts. And yeah, there's been, of course, coming back, there's going to be pain at times, and there was a bit of pain last week at one point, and we didn't like that, so we step back and we go again.
And then there's a number of other players that are dealing with injuries as well. I believe Dagny, Catherine, Megan, Lana. Can you update us on them?
Yeah, Meg Morris is still recovering. I know we've seen her on the field, but she's still recovering as well. It's going to be a long journey for her, and she's been very team first in wanting to be able to be available and get out there. Out of all of those, let's say 2 or 3 weeks for all of them, except for Kling. Kling trained for the first half of today. We expect her in full training this week and expect her to play Saturday.
So Lana, Dagny, Catherine, Meg are all out for the weekend.
Meg Morris will be available, but full fitness, ready to play major minutes, all of those 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, how do you feel about the roster limitations in the NWSL? Obviously, you guys start the season off with all these injuries, and suddenly you're down to a situation where you can't field an 18, and you don't have a ton of options in terms of depth.
Each year it's something different. There's a different reason. The last couple of years it's been an international tournament that sometimes provides some challenges. We had some big challenges last year, and we knew what they were. We knew ahead of time, and we adapted, and we found a way to be successful still as a group and as a team. This year it's a few injuries, players coming into pre-season with injuries. It's probably the hardest blow to take. You wait 5 months and a couple come in. No one can do anything about that. Now it's about trying to make the best of it. So it doesn't matter what the challenge or the reason is. The roster size is the roster size. We're aware of that beforehand. We're aware that injuries can happen. My job and what I get paid to do here is make sure we're always in a good place to compete. Chicago was a great example of that. It's a great team. We played there, been together for a long time. They were at full strength, and we had 5 out and 1 really limited minutes, so we had 6 players out, and 4 or 5 of those have had major minutes for this club and played major roles for this club last year in a successful year. The challenges will always be there. We got to stay focused on trying to get those players back, and then as a team stay focused on being the best we can this week and then the next game.
How have you felt in terms of where you want the team to be? How have you felt the performance has been, and where you want to go? Obviously the injuries are impactful.
Yeah, the journey, and it's like this every year. There's two we know where we want to get to, and there's almost 2 cars driving along on the journey. There's the car that is what your performance is, and I know if you perform well, you play the soccer that you want to play, then you should get the result. This league doesn't always work like that. You've got to keep that car driving along, improving performance, but that car unfortunately sometimes goes a bit slower than you'd like, and it takes time. 4-week pre-season is a very tough and short period to do all the things you need to. It is what it is, we know that. So that car's plodding along. We're improving small things. From North Carolina, we became a lot better defensively against Chicago. We took advantage of some counter-attacks a lot more against Chicago. We didn't finish them, and we need to move that on a little bit. The other car is the results, and I think in this league, we sometimes think that there's one car. I found out in the 4 years there's 2 cars. You want your performance to continue to improve, but sometimes that takes months. It takes weeks and months to get to the performances that your team can get to. got to get results, and that's the other car. That car has to keep driving, has to keep moving forward. We were a little disappointed we didn't get at least a point at Carolina. That was a very, very good team, and we were short-handed. It was tough, but we could have got a point, and we could have kept that car driving along a little bit. Saturday, same situation. Performance was not great. We're going to be a much better team in the next 4 to 6 weeks, much better team, but we got those points. So it's tough. This league is unique. You know, we have a great team here, very committed to playing fantastic soccer, and we'll get there in the end. Right now, getting results against Seattle, the most important part is 3 points. We've got to put ourselves in a position to get a result, and we're focused on that.
In terms of sort of the way the league is, Boston shutting out Seattle last weekend, what does that sort of say to you about competitiveness in the league?
Yeah, very competitive, and I said last year was the most competitive it had been. This year it's gone on again. It's these first 4, 5, 6 games in the league. It happens every year. It's really hard. Boston played fantastic against Seattle. It was a great performance by them, and they look very improved, and they're going to be a dangerous team this year. Everyone right now is finding each other out. It looks like the results are very mixed, and that's where, you know, for us, we can't be naive just to think that a great Thorn soccer performance and playing the soccer we want with and without the ball right now in this early stages doesn't always mean results. You've got to get results in this early period, and last year some of those games we played at the beginning of the year that were critical to our success later on, they were horrible games, really hard, tough games without much soccer. And this is a very athletic, fast league. You look at the 3 teams that have played us, they've all pressed us really high. They've left a lot of space behind, and we haven't really found that. And we got to know how to find that, and we're getting better at it. It's tough. It's a very competitive league.
Talk about your opponent Saturday, Seattle. Obviously, there's always a little extra, especially in the stands when Portland and Seattle get together. Talk about that.
Yeah, extra spice because it's Seattle, and when I was at Washington, there was a little rivalry there. Fantastic coach, great team, and they were the team to beat. And then now you're here in a city that dreams about the day that you get to go and scream and shout against Seattle or play against Seattle. Playing this game against them, it's been important to me as a coach since I joined the league, and the opportunity to play a really good team. They're a great team. They've rebuilt a little bit. They're a great team that have to bounce back from their away game against Boston. It's building up to be a really good game. Could be a classic, and we're going to be up for it. We're going to be ready for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you feel it from the players? Can you see that maybe they kind of get a little extra out of that too, knowing the atmosphere and the opponent?
Yeah, you do, and it's sometimes you want to bottle it up and let it go just before the whistle, because we need to remain focused on preparing. We need to be focused on our details, on how we were going to put ourselves in a position to perform and win this game. So there is a little vibe there, and it always is against Seattle. We want to try and bottle it up and then let it go at the same time just before the whistle. And our game plan's done. We know what we're about, and we know how we can hurt them, and also how we're going to stop them.
Perfect. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys.